Great, thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks to you guys for inviting me. It's slightly different to the last time I was here, which was the arrange along to Little Shop of Horrors. So we were doing flower arranging and singing along while it was up on the screen. I won't stop singing, don't worry. Okay, I'm not going to speak for 15 minutes, don't worry. I think it was obviously a very interesting election in lots of ways, and the result was surprising to most people. But I did wonder afterwards why it was surprising, really. We'd kind of seen we'd seen the warning signs. We knew that people wanted change, that there was a kind of anti-establishment sentiment. We'd seen the results of that in America, in France, and some other places around the world. And so I think we should have expected it was a change election in this country as well, really. But unfortunately, unlike our kind of last big change election in 1997, not enough people wanted that change. Now, my party, the Labour Party, did better than anyone expected, but while coming second is progress, it is not victory. I think what we had this time was a unique coalition of voters who were voting Labour both for the party and for our leadership and despite it. And we had two very different campaigns. We had a national campaign, national messaging pushed out by the leadership of the party, and that really largely got out to people through new media channels and through social networks. And then we had, well, not one campaign, but hundreds of local campaigns with very, very specific local messaging, but with one core kind of similar element across all of them, really, which was vote Labour here to hold the Tories to account, which essentially admitted that we didn't think Labour was going to win, but it was important to have strong opposition. I campaigned in many Labour-held seats in at the start of the election campaign before becoming the campaign manager in Bury North, and that message was clear that was going out everywhere, and it was working to some extent. What we did in Bury North, we didn't have a negative campaign in party terms. We relentlessly focused on the local issues that people told us were important to them. So saving Bury Walk-in Centre, which because of Tory pressures on our NHS is being forced to close, protecting the green belt and building housing but doing it sustainably, and protecting Bury, delivering a Brexit that worked for Bury, as our line was, and not a kind of ideological hard right, hard Brexit at all costs. These were extremely popular messages locally. They resonated a lot with local people. We also had a popular candidate and a very unpopular Conservative MP, which always helps. And that worked for us. We had in Bury North more than double the swing to Labour than there was nationally across the board. And I think nationally, because it looked like Labour had no chance to win, the two different messages, both of the leadership and of the Labour MPs and candidates, while contradicting each other in many ways, helped us to get that fantastic 40% of the vote. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that Jeremy Corbyn is responsible for helping us get there, for a swathe of the new voters that either came to for the first time or came back to the Labour Party. However, he's also responsible and has to take some responsibility for the Tories getting 43% of the vote, which was their highest share of the vote since 1992. It's undeniable, I don't know how many people in this room are party activists for either party or other parties, but the leadership of the Labour Party was anathema to some Labour voters. I certainly found that wherever we went. Some, not all, but some Labour voters were switching away from us or switching to undecided as a result of the leadership of the party. And of course to Tory voters as well, some of whom we do need to win over. So in the seat that I campaigned in Bury North, despite losing by 4,375 votes, that's my new favourite number, David Nuttall, the ousted Tory MP, his vote share went up by 2.5%, and his actual vote total increased by about 2,500. So people were motivated to vote for the Tories and against Labour. And this was despite a deeply unpopular Tory manifesto. I'm looking forward to Sean's thoughts on that. And a woeful campaign from a Gap-prone Prime Minister. I think, I'm really proud, I have to say, I'm really proud of the Labour manifesto. I think it gave a sense of hope, while the Tory manifesto just gave despair. And I think undeniably, that our leader Jeremy Corbyn had a good campaign, with many coming to see him as not as bad as they've been led to believe through the media and from the government. And dare I say it, perhaps even strong and stable alongside the increasingly weak and wobbly Prime Minister. Now, what we were finding in those early days with Labour voters, some Labour voters planning to abandon Labour, actually in the final weeks, as a result of the good campaign, the state of the Tory campaign, and the mix of the national and local messaging, came back. And friends of mine who were in Labour-held seats said in the final 2 weeks, people who switched from Labour to undecided switched back to Labour again. And of course, we ended up holding most, but not all of those seats. We did lose some Labour seats, sadly. And of course, we took a few more as well, like Bury North. I think, really, at the end of the day, despite both parties having their highest vote shares since the 1990s in this election, the reality is that everybody lost badly. Labour couldn't beat the Tories even after they pledged to take all of the money from their core supporters by making them pay for their own social care. And the Tories couldn't beat Labour despite 2 years of successfully branding Jeremy Corbyn as a dangerous communist. And let's all just take a minute to appreciate the utter collapse of UKIP. I'm sorry for any UKIP support in the room, but I just found that delightful. So I think in terms of the Labour Party, going forward, we have to build a broader and deeper coalition, holding everyone we won this year, bringing former Labour voters who switched back, and of course, winning over back some Tories. We can't rely on getting youth turnout or even higher or more unexpected voters flocking to our cause. And let me just end on some quick bullet points that I just hastily put together on the lessons from Bury North. What was so successful for us, in my view? We had local messaging, which resonated, as I said already. We had a wider voter pool than 2015. So 2015, the campaigns across the country were very centrally driven. We had centralised messaging. The central party told us who we should talk to on the doorstep and on polling day. And this, I found to be very worrying at the time. It was a very narrow pool of people. The so-called 32% strategy, or 35, or whatever it was, we didn't get there anyway. We had, thanks to the new volunteers that were so enthused by the leadership, the ability to talk to many more people on the doorstep. So no one was paying attention to what we did, so we could expand our voter pool and talk to as many people as we liked. And we had, I think on polling day in Bury North, 200 volunteers, which is more than double we had in 2015 in the same seat, and probably more than double we had in 2010 as well. I've been campaign manager there for a few elections now. And so we could talk to a lot more people. So on polling day, we went out and we spoke to 25,000 people rather than the 15,000 in the narrow targeting pool wanted us to talk to. And we got 24,500 votes, so you can say that was successful. And finally, we had a heavy investment in highly targeted Facebook messaging. We reached tens of thousands of people with very, very targeted posts on Facebook, which had a huge response rate and were really popular. And I can take no credit for that. Charlotte, sitting in the second row there, was the mastermind of that social media strategy for our campaign, and it was very successful. So those are my lessons and those are my comments. And by the way, we're being recorded, so I must say, these are absolutely my own views and don't represent the views of anybody else. I shudder to think that I represent the views of anybody else. Thank you.